What is up, YouTube? Welcome to yet another Westworld video. Right, so, bit of gloating time. Called it. Fucking called it with every single theory bar one. The maze. I did not kind of see that coming. I did do a video where I talked about it perhaps being something in their mind, a coding, but I said that that'd be a shit reveal. Kind of was, kind of wasn't. So I really like this finale. I like the fact that it was an hour and a half long, or 2 hours. I'm not sure how it works in America, but it was an hour and a half, the episode I watched, and it was stacked. So I'm glad they gave it a lot of time to breathe, a lot of room to kind of show the big reveals. Now, just crazy. Absolutely crazy. So let's talk first William Man in Black. Let's discuss this. So we all saw it coming. We saw it coming a mile off, and I loved the way they revealed how it was actually what happened, how William became who he really was in the park. And I love the fact that Logan has been strapped to a horse and just found in the middle of nowhere and was shown to be a complete and utter mentalist, and then Delos is given to William. So this was kind of like his rebirth, his reawakening. So if we look at the host in the park, they rebirth, they have a cycle. This was William's rebirth. Craziness. So I really liked how that happened. I liked how they revealed it. The whole episode felt fantastic. It didn't feel cheap. None of these reveals felt cheap at all. A lot of the time, I feel on Game of Thrones, for example, the huge deaths, etc., can feel a bit kind of like, hey, there's that! And then you're like, oh, well, that was that. It feels like a reveal for a reveal's sake, or a shock for a shock, or a twist for a twist's sake. But here, it had a narrative implication, which is really needed. That's why I feel that a reveal should fit the nature of a whole actual story. So the whole reveal of William just worked perfectly. And I like the fact that it wasn't obvious. It wasn't kind of, as the show went on, it was kind of a is he, isn't he kind of thing. And I loved the fact that we saw the evolution of the character as the show actually went on, as he became frustrated. And I'm hoping we kind of see in the next season, we see more of how it happened, maybe in how the board gave William the job of the head of Delos, which was pretty damn savage. So there is that. That is cool. Moving forward, it looks like he will probably be more hands-on, I think, with the management of the park and the storylines, etc., considering, what happened and what happened at the end of the episode. So Ed Harris is coming back, hopefully. McPoyle is back for the next seasons. So that would be damn sweet to see him back, because I absolutely loved him in that role. But let's talk about the ending. So the ending of the episode was very interesting. We see Ford meet that what happened. Now, what I think, personally, is that he met the same end as Arnold. He made a big deal about explaining what happened, and that it was actually Arnold who pulled the trigger, and that this was a big thing. So I think that he's done this to end up like Arnold as Bernard, because we saw that secret character, that secret host being made in his weird little basement house thing. And we know that he makes his own secret hosts. So there is all possibility that Anthony Hopkins could come back. So they could bring him back, maybe if he's too expensive, they could bring him back for 1 or 2 episodes. They could bring him back whenever they want, really, because his consciousness could be downloaded into a host. Now, let's talk forward a second. I have no doubt in my mind that he was actually the one who changed Mayev's coding. I don't think for a minute that he didn't know what that staff member was doing with her. I don't think for a minute that he didn't really kind of know or suspect that something was happening. I think that what he did was, maybe this was happening, she was becoming sentient, and he realised that this is a good way to screw over the board and screw over the people who were going to screw him over. And that's probably why her coding was like that, and that's why he did it. So expect that possibly to be revealed next season. Now, one thing which felt a bit iffy was how Wyatt was Dolores. It seemed a bit weird that he kind of just merged them, but it looks like the origin story of the park. And what happened was Arnold trying to create sentience, which sounds like a good idea, but I think that a younger Ford was someone who just wanted to have a thrills park, like a thrill ride. He wanted it to be what it is now, but I think that in his older age and his regrets, he wishes he could have pursued what actually happened. I find it weird that this cover-up allowed the park to actually exist, that Arnold was killed in the way he was so publicly. But it's very strange, and we see it in the modern era kind of covered up, and everything was buried, so it signifies a buried kind of past. So I think that what's going to happen moving forward in season 2, we might possibly see a kind of very more Westworld movie story where the public are in the park and there's murderous robots trying to kill them. And what will probably happen is Maiev or Bernard will be the ones leading the group and giving them the sentience that they want, or helping other hosts achieve sentience. So that's probably more what Dolores is going to do. I think she's more going to help them become sentient as she becomes sentient, because the maze is the human mind. It shows that we can have a higher purpose, which I thought was really, really clever. And I love that monologue from... Now, one thing which is a major reveal, which I feel is possibly bigger than a lot of the reveals we kind of suspected so far, is the fact we saw those samurais. So it looks like Delos is expanding into different territories, into new parks to become more profitable, perhaps. So maybe even next season could take place in a whole another park, which I kind of doubt, but I feel that we'll probably see or hear about another park being made. Now, the craziness is just absolutely crazy in this episode. And one thing I feel that may be another kind of actual reveal, or something which would explain why what Delos and the secret kind of satellite uplinks were, would be data for different reasons. And perhaps Ford is doing all this because he's not actually happy with what Delos want to do with the host. And I kind of find it not really believable that this kind of technology is only being used in a theme park. So that's what I think will be for season 2. But I like the fact that this season was pretty clear cut. I like the fact there's no cliffhangers. There's no kind of... There is cliffhangers, but everything kind of wrapped up. So we know what's going to happen and we can kind of predict what will happen next. But there's no kind of mystery surrounding it. So a very good finale overall. But that's it for this video. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.